Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the PivotBoss pre-market video for Tuesday, September 14th, 2021. I am Frank Ochoa, aka PivotBoss. Here's a look at the daily time frame of the ES. You'll notice right here that the ES is beginning to show signs of a modest low here. In the previous session, in the final hour of the day, price had pushed to new lows, and in the final hour bounced, rallied, and closed above the day's midpoint. And that brought in the idea that perhaps we're attempting to see a low develop. Perhaps we've seen enough pullback now, and perhaps we're ready to bounce out of this range to new highs yet again. Again, if we can continue to see strength here today and over the next several days, we could be looking at a return back to recent highs over the course of the week, and we could be looking at a push through those highs over the course of 1 to 3 weeks. So today, just now over the last 15 minutes, we've seen a great turnaround off the lows, approaching the previous session's high. Do we become something like this over the course of the day, where it pushes through the highs and closes near 4,500? If so, that could be a tremendous sign that more strength could be ahead in the near term. If there is some sort of push to the previous high and a rejection should occur, something like this where you have a failed new high, that could be indicative of a broader pullback to come, although we haven't seen that type of price action in quite a while. Instead, these pullbacks have been followed by a continuation up. So we'll see how this plays out as this approaches the previous session's high at 44.83.5. Taking a look here at the NQ. Alright, here is a look at the NQ. If you take a look at the NQ, you'll notice again very similar price action to the ES, uptrending price action. Continuing to see the market respond to the PIMA trigger zone and also to the higher value relationship on the pivot range. This pullback here landed itself right into the pivot range, and in the previous session we developed kind of a doji day there, where price closed right around the open price, a little bit of a doji after a pullback. Is this going to lead to that bounce and continuation ahead? We talked about 15.4 as being the early bounce zone, and then 15.2 being kind of the deeper bounce zone. If price can hold 15.4, we mentioned before, 16K could be ahead, as a 7-day range suggested a 600 point potential move up ahead. From that pivot low, again, you can go 600, 650 points up, and you're going to get about 16K. So we'll see, again, how does price respond? Can it continue to stay above the previous session's midpoint? And how does it respond as we approach the previous session's high? So right now, showing early signs of strength, but it has to hold on throughout the rest of the session. Here's a look here at crude oil. You'll see with crude oil up about 0.7% right now. This one closed above 70 for the first time since August. August is when it kind of fell back below 70, and for the first time here just yesterday, closing back above it. For the most part, coming out of this narrow range, but still hasn't seen a tremendous breakout just yet. But one of the things we've been talking about is that upper trend line, and how this market has been forming lower highs and rotating off this upper line ever since the 4th of July. But now we've seen price push through the 70 level, push through that upper line, and currently trading up above it. And pushing through 71 here today, trading 70.94 at the moment. So how much more upside do we see from here? The fact that we're above 70 here suggests that we could be looking at transitioning higher toward the next key levels up above into 74. Any pullback here below 70 needs to be rejected for a continuation higher in that path. So again, any pullback below 70 could provide a rejection for continuation towards 74, and 70 remains the major pivot to watch. Taking a look now at gold futures. With gold futures here, again, this one has pulled back into the lower edge of the range. You had 1840 up here, you have 1760 about right there, and that's been the range that has been traded multiple times here before. Once we got below it on that flash crash, price pushed back above 1760 and made its way all the way back to the upper edge. Ahead of that, we mentioned that if we do reach the edge, look for a fade back down, and we've gotten that. and at some point here we likely overshoot the downside a bit, and then we make a move back up toward 1840. So we could be looking at this type of range action for a little bit more. We may not get all the way to 1760, but look for price to continue to kind of bleed out just a little bit more before we see some sort of rejection take us back up. All right, that is it for now. We'll see how this plays out heading into the rest of the session. Good luck, trade well, and I'll see you in the trading room. Take care.